What's up, everybody? It is a Blue Drake, and today I wanted to show you something that I've been wanting to show for a while now. This is one of the newest game engines that I have found and have been learning how to work with recently. And the more that I delve into this engine, the more I learn about it, the more that I understand what they're doing, the more I am beginning to believe that this engine has the potential to completely disrupt everything about the game development industry as it is today. And the first thing about it that I want to mention is it's incredibly small. The entire application is around 50 megabytes. It's insanely lightweight, but that's not the real reason that it's going to disrupt everything. That's just an interesting extra piece of information. The reason this is going to disrupt everything is because this engine is funded entirely through donations from Patreon, of all things. And the entire project, including every single line of code, every single development update, the entire project is released to public domain. So, what is it? This is the Godot Engine project, and it is a very interesting project. I've been watching it for a while now and watching development, and for a public domain, non-commercial, community donation funded game engine. The fact that it has been improving and growing at the rate that it has been for an open source project, that is something that has the potential to be massively disruptive, to say the least, and I guess depending on who you are, absolutely terrifying to say the most. So I found this project many months ago while looking up MIT licensed projects for different game engines like Unity and Unreal Engine 4. And I didn't expect to find, when I was looking for those things, instead of finding a MIT licensed project, I ended up finding a MIT licensed entire engine. So in this case, this isn't the games that are MIT licensed or the projects that are MIT. This is the entire platform, that every single line of code, every single piece of this that has been funded by the public is completely free to use. It is completely public domain, and this is huge. This is like the Linux of game development engines. That's exactly what this is. This is like the Linux operating system of game development engines. And I think because of that, it also has the potential to transform the game development industry in the same way that Linux has transformed the computer industry. And I have to tell you, even for being what it is, for being an open source project, for being something that is community funded and community developed, this is so much more easy to use and powerful and polished than it has any right to be as an open source project. Like, even as an open source community developed project, where you'd expect it to be clunky and it's free, but you kind of have to get around some stuff and some problems with it. This runs and feels so good that when I actually first started using it, I had no idea that it was actually an open source project. I was sitting there messing with it, and I was like, "Yeah, this is really nice, and it feels really good, and it's really fun to use." And like, what's the catch? Like what's the revenue share? What account do I have to make, and what can I not use with it? And you know, then I started looking more into it, and my friends were telling me like, "What? Okay, so this is completely open source. This is you can do whatever you want with this. You can modify it however you want. You can distribute it wherever you want. You don't have to ask anyone for permission. You don't owe anybody anything. You don't have to jump through any hoops to do whatever you want. That's incredible. That by itself that's incredible. So this whole time I've just been showing you like B-roll footage of me messing around in the engine, and now I'm gonna kind of do some live commentary while I'm messing around with it, just to get you a better idea of like how it kind of works. And hello, box, move around. But this project that we're currently messing around in is a demo project, and I kind of want to give you a better idea of how all of this works. So let's go ahead and we're going to just close out of the project entirely here first. Don't save because I messed up everything. If you want to download the entire engine, you can just go straight to their website. Just go to download, and then you can download the version right here. That's all you have to do. This is literally the entire thing right here. This 22 megabyte file is the entire engine. We're going to extract it, and we're just going to launch it. It's just this one single executable. There's no accounts, there's no BS. It's just a standalone little application. It's so beautifully small and elegant. I love it so much. But once you have it started, you can go here and you can look at all of these different projects that are available for you to play around with. So you can get, this is like the Steam Workshop of game development, and it's directly integrated into the launcher. And it's also, like, the vast majority of it, if not all of it, is also licensed under MIT. So you can get all of these other open source games, figure out how do they work, make your own projects if you want. I spend hours in the stuff like this. I spend hours in stuff like this. I could sit here and browse these things for a decade. But once you've found something, you can obviously, you just load it up as a project. Now, I have this project that I found on GitHub. It's the third-person shooter demo. It's actually an official project that has been created by the Godot team as an example of what's possible in Godot, which is great because it absolutely shows what's possible in Godot. It's beautiful, it's awesome, it's very cool. Now, the browser system, the inspector, all of this stuff, it's very similar to what you'd expect from Unity, from UE4, but I don't know, in my opinion, it almost just flows better. It might be because I'm just more of an amateur and I just like pretty accessible menus, but I personally think that there's never an excuse to have an application be even more accessible or be even more fluid or elegant. Like, there's never really a reason to not have it be that way. And this just feels so clean. It's like an extension of your creative mind. It really is. And all of the controls are also very similar. You can click, you can move it around. You can, here, I was playing around with this before. So I can go over here and we can just duplicate some of these little guys and make more enemies for us to fight if we really want to. Let's see, grab this guy, Control D, boink, Control D, there we go. There's a bunch of little dudes. And then once you have everything set up the way that you want, you can just create a quick client build. Now we can play our little game that we've put together in the Godot engine using our 50 megabyte file that we downloaded to our desktop, which is awesome. But this just kind of shows off like all of the base mechanics of what this engine can do. All of the lighting, all of the effects, and this, again, this is just a really simple little third-person demo. So don't get tunnel vision on like the simplistic gameplay or any of that. Just like Unreal Engine 4, just like Unity, if you come in here and you create something with this, you could turn this into anything. You could turn this into a tactical shooter. You could expand this in any direction. I mean, just look at the lighting alone. It looks so good. But everything is here. Everything is it's very independent. It's very easy to use. There's no catches. There's no extra accounts or revenue shares or like license agreements that you have to be beholden to, or EULAs that might get in the way of you wanting to do what you want to do. With all this said, I really love this engine. I love the project. I love the premise of it. I love really everything about this. This is everything that I never thought I would see in an engine in my lifetime. To see that it's a reality right here, right now. That's inspiring. It really is. I mean, you could spend just hours just looking through all of the content that's been created for it. It really is. It's amazing. Now, with that said, I do want to talk a little bit more about Unity and Unreal Engine 4 and other stuff, just kind of like as an ending note. So, in my opinion, this is great. This is incredible. I love the Godot engine. The fact that it's super lightweight and it's completely independent, it is great. It's great as a learning tool as well to actually get into game development and understand how everything works, to learn scripting, and because it's all it's very clean. There's no strings attached, so I think it's a great place to start, both for people who are very deep already into game development or people who are just starting out and just want to simply get into something and start plucking around. This is perfect for that. With that said, though, Unity and Unreal Engine 4, I still think they have their place because let me just say this: I actually really like Epic Games a lot as well. Epic Games is probably one of the most progressive companies when it comes to releasing their work, when it comes to kind of like helping the community and building up the community, not tearing it down, not like monetizing or exploiting it. I really I don't want this to take away my respect or my awe of how Epic Games has acted as a company to support their creative community. Like it's incredible, and I think that one of the reasons that Unity and Unreal Engine 4 aren't going anywhere anytime soon is because they have the funds to continue pushing the boundaries of what is technically possible. They're the ones that are going to be releasing the massive innovations in probably networking and all sorts of other stuff. So I think that that's why there's definitely still going to be a place there. There's definitely a place for kind of like corporate America in software and kind of like investing and pushing the boundaries. But there's also a place for this. There is also a place for this. In the same way that there's a place for Linux and there's a place for Windows. And I think that this is necessary. I think this has been a puzzle piece that's been missing from the game industry for a long time. In the same way that Linux has really helped shape the software industry, the computer industry, but in the same way, Microsoft is still obviously operating and they're still successful, and they both serve their roles. I see this as the exact same thing. There's a lot that can still be expanded into this engine. The Godot engine can still get more features, better features, more polish. If they implement more systems that do more cutting edge things, that's going to be available to everyone. That is going to be an ongoing battle for the open source community to create those things. And of course, Unreal Engine 4, Epic Games is probably going to have the cutting edge engineers, and Unity is going to have the cutting edge software developers, and they're going to continue pushing the bar. But this is going to be the place where the community comes together and makes all of those innovations eventually available to everyone. For one last little thing, before I wrap up this video, I figured this would be kind of like a fun little example, since we have a whole bunch of Star Wars fans. But here, we'll go ahead and Star Wars demo. We'll just create this little project just to kind of like show you how fun this is to play around with. And I've got this Star Wars Corvette, which I'll just import the OBJ for now because I don't want that. But this is the kind of stuff that is just kind of fun to play around with. Is this in here? Where are you? There you are. Hey. And it's just you have no. I find these everywhere online. I guess I know where to look now, or maybe I'm just kind of like just balls deep into the kind of like game dev undercurrent, and I just find these all the time, and I just love loading them up and playing around with them and looking at all of the different details and whatnot, and all of the different things that people make and how they make them. It's really awesome. Here, let's get you like set up so I can look at you normally. Hey. But this is really, I don't know, this is awesome. It's so much fun. Do this forever. I've been looking for a Millennium Falcon that has full interiors. I've seen it. There's one on, I'm hunting it down right now. Somebody's done it somewhere, and I've gotten pretty close. I found this Corvette, but it doesn't have any interiors, which kind of sucks. It'd be cool if it did. But I've just been hunting them all down. But it's so awesome. And now, like, I have this awesome little portable engine. Like, that's what this is. It's like an engine in a little box. It's like I have this little portable game engine that I can just use to plink around with now. It's so nice. It's so simple. It's so easy. There's no accounts. I just put it in a folder, and then I can just boot it up and do whatever I want with it. It's just so cool. So I wanted to say, if you enjoy this, if you think this is as cool as I do, then I strongly recommend you go to their site. I mean, just go, and even if you've never done game development before, even if you're not a programmer, or if you're not anything, who cares? It doesn't matter. Just go to their site and download. It's 22 megabytes. You can get it up and running in a millisecond. Play around with it, and maybe you'll learn something. Maybe you'll learn something. It's a perfect way to just get involved. It's absolutely perfect. There's no strings attached. The potential is just endless. There's no wall that you're ever going to run into. You could start with absolutely no knowledge and then eventually become a frickin' software engineer and rewrite the entire Godot engine from scratch. You can do that. You can't do that with everything. When you look at like Game Maker Studio or other stuff, you can't do that. Those are all locked down. Those are things that they give you. I mean, if you go to hold on, Game Maker yeah, Yo-Yo Game. When you look at other stuff, like this is another engine per se that has been advertised as like a very accessible engine that you can just kind of make games even with no programming experience. But the problem is that it's kind of locked down. Like you can't go in here and just rewrite the entire underlying code base of this engine. It's not possible. It's their property. This is not public domain. And don't get me wrong, it's really cool and people make really cool things in this, but there's a limit. There's a limit to what you can do. There's strings that are attached, but with this, there's nothing. There's nothing, and this is like the betterment of humanity as a project. Oh God, I love it. But if you love this as much as I do, I really strongly recommend going and just dropping a couple of dollars on their Patreon. I was actually already supporting them, but I am going to go ahead myself and I am going to up, let's see, what's their, I'm going to go ahead and up my own $100. There we go. Bam. Supported. I am going to support this for $100 a month. And look, the reason I'm going to do this is because this is one of those projects where the more that we put into this, the more that it's going to give back to us, to everyone. This is a project that is just like the more that we develop this, the more that the community comes together and makes this possible, the more it is going to give back to everyone. And honestly, I mean, it's kind of insane. It's almost like, I mean, I'm going to be supporting this for $100 a month, and I almost feel bad. I feel like I'm still getting the better end of the deal because every single thing that they make, every single update that they push out, every single innovation that they achieve and they release under MIT license, like they're not even going to be able to take that back. That is public domain. That is usable for everyone, by me to you to everybody forever. Forever. That's incredible. That is a massive incentive. That is a massive incentive to support this. If we could get this to a level where it's got, I have known, really polished inverse kinematic systems, like pre-built network infrastructure for the player controllers or for physics, so you can actually create a game with vehicles that has the client side prediction problem already completely solved. Like if we get those solved once, just one time under MIT, it is done forever. Forever. There will never be a time where you're like, oh man, I really wish we could have vehicles in this game, but unfortunately that's really difficult. No, it's done. So it's done. And it's there for humanity to use so we can play better games, so the communities can make better games, so we can just have a better experience creating games and software. Like this is, it's amazing, it's so good. It's such a good idea. It's so good. Okay, all right, that's it. I'm gonna stop freaking out. Hopefully, you guys think this is amazing as I do. Unfortunately, I have to go to work in the next couple of days, so this is probably gonna be one of the last videos I make for the next little bit. I'm flying to San Francisco because I have to go to a conference until the 23rd, and then I will be back, and then I will be making more videos again. I love all this stuff. I also love you guys showing me things. So please continue sending me messages, showing me all the cool projects. I mean, the reason I found out about this was because my fans obviously tell me about it and they explained to me why I would love it. Like they hit me up and they're like, "Do you know about this? Because you'd freak out if you knew about this, right?" And god damn it, were they not wrong? Because it's yes. This is great. So all right. Anyways, I am gonna go to work. I'll be back. Thanks so much for watching. as always, everybody. And of course, also, if you are interested in helping us with our own projects, the reason I love this so much, the reason I love the Godot engine and the premise of this so much is this is very similar to the kind of development that our community also pursues. Like, we want to create games together. We want to create games that we want to play together as a community. And the reason I love projects like the Godot engine is because it's kind of like a reflection of our spirit and mentality as well. So if you want to be a part of that, I'll leave a link. If you have anything that you think you'd want to offer to a project that we can make together, I will put a link probably in the comments or description or something like that, and you can maybe go and file an application to be a part of our community dev group. And then, yeah, all right, besides that, I will see you guys next time after I'm done with work. And don't forget that Blue Drake loves you forever. Okay, bye, guys.